Thanks for joining us today. One more home game during the regular season. Can you take us through your prep for Missouri?
Yeah, it's a little different than most weeks. We've got a lot of kids with flu and sickness. It's that end of February kind of accumulation of the holidays still catching up to us, so we haven't had a chance to be on the practice floor just as much as we normally would. So it's good that it's an opponent that we've had a second time around, one that's pretty familiar to us, a team that we play 2 times a year, every year. So we'll get after it again today, hopefully a little closer to full strength. But we took Monday off. We took Tuesday to kind of celebrate our 6th win of the league. It's kind of a number we had in mind to double last year's output, and we wanted to reward the kids in a small way yesterday with a light day. We'll get after it again today.
Having IT back, played 19 minutes, 16 minutes, scored 12 points, the value of being able to have her back. And I know you talk about Mal. She's been there, done that, but I'm sure it helps.
It does help, and just, I think it helps Mal in the back of her head, too, that she can go at it. She's not been full strength ever since the ankle and the hand injury back-to-back in that one. I think that was maybe the Auburn game. So having IT back she gives you a little different look. She's got that speed and power combination. She's very confident. She's got fresh legs. She had a 3-week break there where she was doing a lot of rehab, but she wasn't in that February grind that a lot of us were. And I think you can see that in her step. You can certainly see it in her confidence. And down the stretch, that could be a huge key for us.
You mentioned taking on Missouri for the second time this season. Can you just maybe take us through some things that you might have adjusted or maybe learned from that first Missouri game?
They're always hard to score on. They do such a good job with scouting and preparation, and they can switch a lot of screens because Sophie can guard a lot of different people, and Amber Smith is so versatile. She can guard a lot of people. Then, the other thing I think is Sierra Porter's back more in game shape and game speed. She had come back around the holidays, which we played them early on. I think they held us to 15 points in the first half the first time around. It was really a struggle to score on them. So hopefully we've learned from that, from watching our film against them, some things we can and can't do, and we'll do a little better here at home.
Sorry. You're good, brother. How about Alexis Tolfrey? And, she kind of went on that streak where she wasn't producing offensively, but she seems like she's starting to find her rhythm again. Do you feel that way?
Sure. And, I said it during the slump that she was having, that at the end of the year we're going to look up and she's going to be around a 30% shooter. That means she's going to get hot here late. Shooters don't usually change their percentages a whole lot over their careers, but there are going to be some swings. The thing that she did, though, she was putting so much emphasis on her offense, and she let that be who she became about, and we clearly pointed it out to her that wasn't why we continued to play her, because she brought value in transition, she brought value defensively, and she had started to lose that. But we stuck with her. Her teammates stuck with her. I think that's important that our players know that if they earn that during the preseason and the non-conference season, that you can endure a little bit of a slump. We're not going to change personnel just because you go through a little bit of a streak. So it's certainly good to have her back. She has a little more smile, a little more pep on her step. Go back and look at the difference when you substitute for her. She sprints out, she slaps my hand now, and she runs to the bench and she makes eye contact. For about a month there, she walked off the bench. She probably tried to ignore me and everybody on the bench. So I think that's common these days. I don't overreact to that. I think kids, because of the world that they put themselves in of comparison, that sometimes that happens. And I think it's important that your kids know that you stick with them through those times and they come out of it on the other side. So it's certainly good to have her back this late in the year. We need her to be good. I think we've had some kids who have been very, very consistent, and we need some of those kids who've been up and down to be really on for us to try to finish strong here. There's a lot of things. You start playing with those numbers now, a lot of what ifs. I read Missouri's release that said they could finish as low as 10th in our league if they lose their last 2 games, which is mind-blowing. But there's a real log jam in that middle. I think other than the fact that we've locked up a non-first day of the SEC tournament, I think there's still a lot to play for.
Kind of alluded to what I was about to ask, but having, Alexis back, IT back, things starting to gel and not having to rely and feel like you have to rely on Mal and Chelsea to score with these final 2 games and then into the SEC tournament, how valuable is that?
I think we're harder to scout. I think we're harder to prepare for. I think you can't load up the paint on Chelsea I know for a fact it was part of Ole Miss's game plan to try to keep her off the foul line, and she got there 15 times because Lex was a little bit more of a threat and because IT was driving it like she was. So those guys give you other options. They give you other weapons and places to put them on the floor. And I think all that does is help Mal and Chelsea be able to continue to produce, but just do so in a different way.
Always been curious, when you've talked about rebounding and the struggle there, have you thought about playing Kira and Taylor at the same time?
Not really. I think until we stop getting as many shots as the other opponent, I'm not going to worry about it. It's only happened 1 or 2 times this year, and that's why people like to be good rebounding teams, so they can get extra possessions and get more shots. So I think that's kind of our identity. I do think there are possessions where we use Bailey in that spot. But, yeah, we did it once or twice last year, but it's just not probably our best lineups.
Anything else?
All right. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.